Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. This channel contains hundreds of different videos covering all manner of different patterns, techniques and styles of fly tying. There's something here to suit almost everybody, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let's get on with the show. Hi guys, so tonight we're going to tie a Pearly Invicta muddler. So for this I'm going to use a B175 in a size 10 and I'm going to use a black tying thread. So for this one I'm actually using the Textreme standard 6.0, which I've started to use a bit. Seems like quite a strong thread. Now take that down to the bend, and for the tail on this fly we're going to use pearl crystal here. So I'm tie in one strand doubled over, which makes two, and then I'm going to take that forward so that I end up with a smooth underbody and fold it back and tie that back to meet it, and therefore we don't end up with any step. Then trim that off at whatever length suits yourself. Now I'd probably say half the length of the fly or so. And I'm also going to use this stuff as the body or tinsel on the fly. So I'm just going to take the two strands in and tie them in forwards again, leaving the long bit out the back. Trim off the tag ends of that. So we need a rib on this fly. Because it's a tinsel bodied fly, I'd probably go with wire. So we're going to use a silver wire here. Tie that in again, full length of the intended body, and take it back. So it's also on the far side from me, which is the side that you're looking at. And then we take the tying thread up forward. So we're doing it on about 75% of the shank here, because we need room for hackles and wings and then the muddler head itself. So the two strands then, as we wrap forward, you want to just slightly overlap each time, so the front or leading strand is creating the single layered body, and then the one that's coming behind is laying over that, and therefore you end up with double coverage and a stronger or more effective pearl effect. So hackle on this fly, we're going to use a little red game cape here. Just straightforward little Indian cape. Genetic capes can be very stiff, very spiky, and I suppose it depends on what you're trying to aim for here, but I find these are a good option. So we tie that in and then catch it by its tip. And what I want to do here is to put on 2 or 3 turns to create a front hackle effect, and then we start to travel down the body in open turns, as many as suits your own preference, you know, for bushiness of the fly. When we get to the back, catch it in with the wire, at which point you can break that off, and then travel through the body in even turns till we come through the hackle at the front. Now I've come up over the top, so I'm just holding it under tension here. I'll get a couple of turns in, which will allow me then to turn my wire along the line of the shank and come over it with a few turns. I'm holding my thread under tension. That gives me a pivoting point here and allows me to wiggle that until it snaps. Then I'm just going to pinch the hackles. Now, if I'd used, as I said, a spiky genetic cape, that probably would be more difficult to do. So next thing we're going to do is put on a throat on this fly, and we're going to use J for this. So if we take a J feather, you could wind it if you want, but what we're going to do is just put a throat on. So we're going to just pull all the fibres out straight, grab it as a bunch and strip it off. So we end up with a bunch in this hand. Then I grab the bases of that and squeeze it together, and that creates my little bunch. Flip the fly upside down, and I'm going to set that in, and we're going to pinch loop this almost as if we were tying in a wing, and that will give us our blue jay throat. We just need to trim off the bases of that. So we now need to put a wing on this fly. So for the wing we're going to use hen, pheasant, teal. So what I'm going to do with this is, if you look at it, it has quite a sharp angle to it. So I'm going to just take my centimetre or so section, and I'm just going to pull all the fibres out to one side, and then grab that, because the tips are now aligned and straight, and just strip it off the feather stock. And then I just want to stroke those until they sort of knit to each other a little bit again. Now, hen pheasant doesn't really knit to itself that much or that well, so we're going to take that slip and set it aside. And then the other side of the feather I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to take the feathers out until the tips align and pull that off. And this bit is not as strong, it's not as well marked, but what it's going to do, I'm going to use it as an underwing, and it's going to support the main wing. So as you can see, we now have that pulled out until the fibres align. Set it down as one skin, and then set the other one, or the top wing, on top of it, and pinch the two together. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to pinch it and fold it on itself, and that'll create like a tented wing for us. And then we're going to tie that in top. So I'm going to take it out to around about the length of the tail there, and then I'm going to pinch loop, tie that in and tighten it. You just want to stroke it to get that together. And trim that off. So what I'm going to do now is just to take a little bit of super glue, and I'm just going to set the head, or the head that's behind the muddler head as such. I'm just going to put a little run of super glue onto my tying thread there, and then just wrap over this. Okay, so if you were tying a straightforward Pearly Invicta with a pearly tail, that would be your fly. But we're going to put on a muddler head, so we're going to use this deer hair here. So take a bunch of that, trim it off, and in my right hand I'm going to pinch this bunch until it's flattened. Okay, so then I'll offer that up to the fly, and the idea then is, as I pinch that around it, it will envelop the whole thing. So you have to choose how long you want these sort of fake hackle bits to be. You can have it very short if you want, but then you'll end up with a very small muddler head. You can have it the full length of it if you want, but I think it's neater if it's slightly shorter. And so set that on, and then we just pinch, and that has this enveloped the whole way around the fly head. So then we put on 2 loose laps and just let it hang. I haven't tightened that at all. And then I trim off the bunch. Okay, so it's now 3-4 mil of butt end sticking out there. Then I just tighten into that, put on a couple of turns in there, and then I'm going to just wind through that until I get to the front. And that has the effect of shortening some of these front fibres. I then want to whip in behind that. A whole lot less trimming with this technique. And then to finish things off with, I'm just going to take my super glue again, and I'm just going to go in right behind the eye there on both sides, and a little bit across the top, and then just stroke it on that. Will A, fix the tying thread position, and B, it will give us a little bit of shape to the front of the muddler head. And so if you want to, if there's a few fibres then that just aren't doing what you want, just take sharp scissors and trim that up. So that is our little Pearly Invicta Muddler tied. Fly that does well for both sedge and even fry imitation. So hopefully you liked what you've seen tonight, and if you did, give us a like, subscribe, hit those buttons down below, and check out all the other videos on the channel. There's 500 or 600 of them to look at this point. Until next time, tight lines, and thanks for watching.